Well, hello there, ladies and gents. Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, and we are talking about week 7 into this contest prep. I'm feeling pretty good so far. So I really want to talk about the training and the cardio aspect, especially as it relates to being almost 2 months into the prep. So a lot of people make the assumption that when you're going into a cut, you're trying to lose body fat. You need to transition from lifting heavier weights to lifting lighter weights with more repetitions. That is not true. So basically, when you're training, when you're going into a contest prep, you want to lift as heavy as you have throughout the entirety of your off season, as much as possible. Anyways, it's going to be harder to hit that higher weight. You're going to have less energy, less fuels coming in, so it's going to be more taxing on the body, and it's going to be harder to hit those numbers. However, your body has a stimulus. So like when you're training, that's a stimulus to your body. It tells your brain, your body that, hey, okay, look, we need to have the muscle tissue in order to perform this task in front of us. And when you start lifting with a much lighter weight for more reps, and you're in a caloric deficit, your body's like, okay, we don't need this much muscle because we don't have to lift this heavy weight anymore, and calories are scarce, food is scarce, and let's catabolize muscle to kind of fill that gap. Whereas if you're in a caloric deficit, as you are when you're in a contest prep, and you're still lifting the same amount of weight or as close as you can to that weight, your body recognizes that, hey, there's still a demand and a need for this muscle tissue. Let's not catabolize it. So that's going to be a very muscle-sparing effect right there. Couple that with the fact that the ketogenic diet is muscle sparing in the first place is a big bonus, because you often don't lose as much muscle tissue as you think you would when going through a contest prep, especially if you're in a keto adapted state. My last contest prep, when I did it for the first time with keto, I was hitting PRs like 2 weeks out from the competition, which is pretty unheard of. I mean, most people see a pretty drastic drop in their strength as they go throughout the course of a contest prep. My first several competitions before I was keto, I would lose as much. I mean, granted, I did everything wrong and dropped calories way too quickly, but I recall losing like 100 pounds on my squat, which was just horrendous. Whereas that's not really an issue anymore if you do a proper diet, whether it be keto or not. But you have a keto diet, you're keto adapted, you've got enough beta hydroxybutyrate in your bloodstream, going into your cells, fueling your body. You're not going to have to worry about near as much catabolism in the muscle tissue. So that's a huge perk and benefit to going through a contest prep in a state of ketosis. So I want to talk about the cardio aspect of it as well. Actually, before I do that, I get a ton of questions about the rep tracking app that I'm using, because I'm tracking my workouts. I'll post them on social media sometimes, and I get a ton of questions about that. So I have that app on my phone. I just want to do a quick little screen share of that, give you kind of a high-level view of what I'm using for tracking my workouts. Let's dive into my phone real quick first. All right, boom, y'all. We are in my cell phone. Look at that background. My wife is beautiful. All right, so check out the Rep Count app. That is what the icon looks like. In case you want to know what it looks like in the App Store, click on that, and this is what we have. So we basically have a log here that shows basically my what exercises I'm doing, what split I'm doing, what day, how long it lasts, etc., etc. And then routines. So these are my pre-saved routines that I've built out, which this is why I really like this app. It gives you a lot of customizational features, like you can add different exercises. You can add whatever you like to do. You can add exercise here. You can make your own exercises. Like if there's not one in the library of the different exercises, you can do so. You can just add it, give it its own name, whatever you want to do, really. So that is definitely a cool feature. So back to this, I'm just kind of giving you like a quick little overview here. So I've got the log, the routine, statistics. I haven't really played too much time around with this, but basically you can look and see kind of what direction you're trending based off of, volume, for instance. So you can see kind of, so this is for chest specifically, breaks it down by the number of like days, weeks, etc., etc. I wonder how I can see here. Volume, week. So I don't know I guess this is for chest as well. Not really sure. I got to figure this out more. But I like that it has this feature, because I like that I can go back in and track and see what direction I'm trending over time. More. It's got a dark theme, which I like. Got to have that dark theme. You can edit the exercises here. So you can basically just change the name, change what type of exercise that it is, strength, body weight, assisted body weight, et cetera, et cetera. You can merge workouts. You can do like supersets. It's just got a lot of features. And then like so say tomorrow, for instance, I'm going to be training. I already trained today. Let's just say I'm training full body. I don't know. Let's say I'm doing heavy back, hypertrophy biceps. So click on that, and it's got my workouts here, what I plan on doing. And then I start the workout, and then this is what I really like about this. It's got the weight and the reps that I performed on the last day's training session of this split. So basically, I kind of know what reps or weight I need to beat in order to accomplish a progressive overload principle and push the body with more volume, more weight than I did before. So I really like that feature. And then you can see I can add sets. I know that I did more sets, so this is kind of all the preloaded exercise. I need to kind of resave this day as a new routine so that it's not having to add those sets manually. It'll all automatically pop up there. But I really like that it has this feature, because a lot of the different apps out there, it's almost impossible to know what you trained the next or the day prior, or the week prior, like what actual weights and reps you were hitting. So you have to kind of scroll back, you have to write it down, you have to make a note, whereas this makes it really easy to just have all that at your fingertips. But I just want to kind of give you a quick little overview of what this looked like. If you're interested, I get a ton of questions about what I'm using to track my lifts, my training, and this is that rep count. All right, we are back from my phone. I used to not track workouts at all. When I very first started tracking, I tracked everything. And then I went through this phase where it was pretty much strictly instinctive with the workouts. I didn't track a thing. I kind of inherently knew what I had trained the week prior, what weight I was using, and I just tried to push harder each week. However, I've recently tried these different apps. I've tried so many different apps, and this is the one that's been best for me due to the customization that I have with it and just kind of what I'm looking for in a tracking app. But I track my macros to a T. It makes sense for me to track my training because I want to be able to have all this data. Plus, it just really ensures that when you're going through a contest prep, you're not decreasing any more than is necessary. Like if you left it up specifically to what you were in the mood for or what you felt like doing, you're probably going to start titrating the intensity and the weight down a little bit simply because you're in a caloric deficit and you're not really feeling it. Whereas if I'm tracking it, I'm seeing these numbers. I can see what I hit last week. I see what I hit the week prior. I can see what I need to get this week in order to have a progressive overload in place. It's like it's motivating. It keeps me on par, and it just ensures that I'm trending in the right direction. So I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. As far as cardio goes, let's talk about cardio. So a lot of people will go into a contest prep or just to cut in general, like if their primary goal is to lose body fat, they really ramp up the cardio. And you don't necessarily want to do that, especially right out of the gates. Like I'm prepping for 5 or 6 months. The last thing I want to do is start my prep doing 7 days a week of cardio for an hour a day, because then my body is kind of like up against a wall when it comes to adding an additional stimulus as I get deeper and deeper into the prep. So I'm 7 weeks in right now and I haven't done any cardio whatsoever. I take that back. I do a daily run. I'll run for like 1.3 miles every morning. I don't really even do that as a form of cardio, more so just a way for me to listen to a podcast or audiobook and kind of get the day started. However, once my body slows its response to my nutritional manipulations and starts to plateau in that regard, then I can add the stimulus of cardio to kind of get things moving again. So you want to treat this like you don't want to just go out the gates, guns blazing, drop your calories a ton, increase a whole bunch of cardio, totally change your weight training regimen, because then you don't really know, first of all, what stimulus has caused your body to adapt, what stimulus has caused your body to change in the direction you want it to. That's why I like changing one thing at a time. So right now, my only focus has been manipulating my nutrition, titrating calories down, kind of playing with the ratios there. My training has stayed the same. I've tried to continually progressive overload on that. In fact, today I hit a PR on squat, which is pretty cool. I'm 7 weeks into prep and I'm hitting PRs on squat. That's motivating to me. And then with regard to the cardio, I haven't even started that yet. I probably won't start cardio until my calories are down south of 2,500. I'm still at 3,000 now. So once I get down below 2,500, if my body starts to slow, in its adaptation and response to those nutritional manipulations, then I can start gradually titrating cardio in to get things moving again. You almost want to think of cardio and calories as having an inverse relationship. As calories drop, you're not really, like when you start out, you're not really doing much cardio. But then as calories get lower and lower and your body starts to kind of plateau a little bit, you can ramp up the cardio gradually, and it has like an inverse relationship to that of the nutritional changes. So yeah, I would definitely recommend doing something like that. When I do start doing cardio, it's probably going to be like 10 to 15 minutes on a Stairmaster. I like the Stairmaster. I feel like that's a really good way to keep things concise. There's less variability in there. I mean, the speed is what the speed is, and the intensity is what the intensity is. Like, if I go in there and I can track and say, okay, today I'm going to do 10 minutes at level 15 on the Stairmaster, that doesn't change. Like, it's always the same thing. So I can really track that and kind of help regulate things. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now as far as the training goes, pretty much where I'm at right now as far as the cardio goes. So hopefully you learned something from that, and I will see you next week for week 8.